And then he raised his hands like this, made a hole. He says, today a hole has been made in the barrier. Which one? The one built by Zulkarnain. And so the release of Ya'juj and Ma'juj will now commence. Because today Allah has made a hole in the barrier. Nobody else can make that hole. Only Allah can do it. Because Zulkarnain says, فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكَّاءَ When the time comes of which my Lord has warned you, Allah is going to bring down this barrier. When did this experience take place? This is in Medina. This is after the change of Qibla. Okay? It is at this time that the barrier is now brought down. And so Gog and Magog are released in the lifetime of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Are they all released at the same time? No. No. Because first of all, the Qur'an told us in Surah Kahf that they will be released as waves. وَتَرَكْنَ بَعْدَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ. And secondly, there is a hadith in Sahih Muslim which tells us that when Gog and Magog are released, the first of them will pass by the Sea of Galilee and start to drink the water. I said it last night, didn't I? And by the time the last of them pass, they will say, there used to be water here. It takes a long time to drink out a whole lake of water, isn't it? So the release of Ya'juj and Ma'juj is going to take a long time. They will not all be released at the same time. They were released in the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ. Now we can try to identify them. Number one, we're looking for a people who, when they are released, the first people they will attack will be those people whose language nobody could understand. They will be the first people to become carbon copies of Gog and Magog. Please. Secondly, when they are released, they are going to exhibit an obsession with the Holy Land, because they eventually have to bring the Jews back to the Holy Land. So they have to liberate it. Thirdly, when they are released, these people eventually have to take control of the world. So now we're looking for a people who, prior to Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, were nothing. Nothing. They never walked on the stage of history. They were never a great civilization like Egypt and like China and like Babylon, etc. And they never exhibited any special interest in the Holy Land. And we're looking for a people who, after Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, now become completely different. They are destined to take control of the world. And they are destined to show an obsession with the Holy Land. And they are destined, it is their destiny to establish the one global society. And all of mankind will become carbon copies of them. Who are these people? Who are these people within whom we look for Gog and Magog? The answer, of course, is plain. Prior to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, did Europe ever experience a great civilization? Prior to Muhammad ﷺ, did Europe ever have any special interest in the Holy Land? But after Muhammad ﷺ, Europe is different. The Crusades now take place. Europe has become Christian. And the Crusades are now launched to liberate the Holy Land. But the strange thing that I mentioned to you last night is that the Europeans are the only Christians who want to do that. No other Christians have this obsession with liberating the Holy Land. No other Christians launch any crusade, only Europe. And so I suggested to you last night that the Crusades were not an essentially Christian phenomenon. They were rather an essentially European phenomenon dressed up in the clothes of Christianity. And then we mentioned how one Sunday morning something strange happened in Europe. Some Europeans became Jews. Strange, yeah? Because supposed to be born as a Jew. Your mother have to be Jew, but strange things have happened. So some Europeans become Jews. In fact, this is shortly after the Prophet Muhammad that it happened. And these Jews, these Europeans who are Jews, they also manifest a strange obsession with the Holy Land. They are the ones who eventually establish a movement known as the Zionist movement. And the mission of the Zionist movement is to liberate the Holy Land, to bring the Jews back to the Holy Land and to restore the state of Israel. But the strange thing is that these are the only Jews who want to do that. The rest of the Jewish world is not a part of this. The rest of the Jewish world does not want to be a part of a struggle to liberate the Holy Land. Because the rest of the Jewish world says this can only happen when the Messiah comes. But the European Jew says, we're not going to wait for no Messiah. We can do it ourselves. I want to suggest to you, as I did last night, that the Zionist movement is not an essentially Jewish movement. No. It is an essentially European movement dressed up in the clothes of Judaism. And then I mentioned last night how when Europe abandoned both Christianity and Judaism, and Europe now became secular, because that's the meaning of secularism. Secularism means you abandon religion. Religion is now only for the four walls of the church. Religion is not for the economy. Religion is not for politics. No. Religion is just for the church. That's secularism. When Europe became secular, which is godless, the euphemism for godlessness, this Europe also exhibits a strange obsession with the Holy Land. It is Britain in 1917 which issues the Balfour Declaration, that it is the intention of the British government to work for the establishment of a Jewish national home in the Holy Land. In 1919, we said the British Army defeated the Turks and liberated the Holy Land, and between 1919 and 1948, the Jews come back. Europe opened the doors for the Jews to come back. Europe controls the Holy Land now. Prior to this, the Ottoman Empire never allowed the Jews to return. You can come back as tourists, yes, but you cannot come back to reclaim the Holy Land. And so now the Jews are back in the Holy Land, and the state of Israel was born in 1948. And so the answer is as plain as daylight. That Gog and Magog were released in Europe. In Europe. What part of Europe are we talking about now? Is it Western Europe or is it Eastern Europe? We are zeroing now on Gog and Magog. When Gog and Magog are released, then the world will experience a power which cannot be defeated. Good. When Islam emerged, the Muslim armies were able to defeat the two superpowers in the world, namely the Byzantine Empire and the Persian Empire. The two superpowers were defeated. And so Islam is now the ruling power in the world. And the Muslim armies now attack Europe from two sides.